Hello. Hello. Good evening, everyone. We're live in Passion to Action, our episode for tonight. And we just want to start a bit. Well, we're on time, but we removed the opening billboard that we used to do for the past few months because we're testing something in the algorithm of Facebook. So let's just wait a bit for our audience, our people, our Bellas to be able to come in live with us. So we are live on the BDJ Facebook page, Kandama Facebook page, the Bella Tribe group, and You Got This Plan With Me, and of course in our YouTube channel. So there. So I hope you guys are gonna catch us tonight because we have, as usual, our an exciting episode and masayang chikahan with Victor and our special guest tonight, Sheila. So guys, please do share where you're watching us from. So if you notice, medyo iba yung background ko for tonight because I'm still in the office. And ayan, it's our crazy season, but we're very happy that we have the opportunity to be able to still continue working and be able to serve you guys with our product. So we're happy to be here. So guys, sa comments, please share if to share where you're watching us from. So I'm live in Mandaluyong. Ayan, may nagsasabi na, good morning, afternoon, Miss Dar. So ayan, kailangan lang ng give StreamYard permission. So there. So very exciting, and I'll bring in my partner soon. So tonight is the second Wednesday of the month. Usually we do our Passion to Action episode on the third Wednesday of the month. But we moved it up earlier so we can have a break for Christmas. So tonight you are watching the BDJ Studio Learning Series with Kandama, a high fashion brand and social enterprise that aims to save the weave. So in this series, we talk about turning your passion into action, and we want to give you the inspiration and tips you need so that you can take action and chase after your dreams and create lives that are full of joy and love. So as we close another chapter, this is the last month. I can't believe it. It's really December. It's December 8. We're closing the year 2021. It's time to look back at the challenges and reflect. It's time to look back on the year and reflect on the challenges and our accomplishments we've had. And kailangan talaga natin ng pause. I want to remind everyone that we do need to pause because we need to really take the time to look back and then prepare for another adventure for the year to come. So in terms of goals, dreams, and advocacies, what were you able to focus on this year, this 2021, and what would you like to focus on more this coming new year? So join us in this discussion, and I will bring in my partner and co-host for tonight, Victor Bagilat Jr. from Kandama. Hello,
Hello, hi,
Victor.
hello, hi to the Bellas out there. I love your scarf. It matches mine.
Yes, Kandama.
So how are things so far?
Ayan, thank you, Victor, for coming to our warehouse sale last Saturday. I really appreciate it. So, masaya naman yung warehouse sale. Tapos ngayon, um, it's a Christmas rush for us. So, there's a lot of things that we're rushing in terms of the orders and then the corporate gifts and so on. So,
Yeah,
that's really something that's keeping us busy. But,
mm,
syempre, ano natin 'to, commitment natin 'to yung
yeah,
episodes natin every Wednesday. So we're happy to be here.
yeah.
Yeah, yan.
Thank
So
you, thank you.
ikaw?
Thanks for having me. I've been like busy, like working on, like the focus. So I just got this focus journal for 2021, and sorry, 2022, and this is my 2021. So
Yay.
one to the other. I'm about to open it in time for next year. Um, yeah, so I am currently consulting for a company. It's a Fortune 500 company, Fortune 400 company that's working on their sustainability program. So they want to help like our oceans, because if you don't do anything by 2050, there will be more plastic than fish in our oceans. So
Wow, that's so scary.
I know. So we gotta do
Let me
some
know how we can help also there. Grabe,
most
no?
definitely. Yeah.
Sa Philippines particularly or all over the world?
They're actually all over the world, but we've identified one location. It's gonna be in China because the Yangtze River in China is the top, like pollutant, contributor, like river contributor to the ocean. So yeah, so we're working on that particular project, and hopefully like things are gonna turn out really well. Kaya medyo I'm a bit like stressed out, but I'm super happy to be in this sustainability space. I think sustainability is really one of the like trends right now. There's a
Yes.
green transformation all over, rightfully so, and I'm also excited that because our guest right now is a sustainability champion. Diba?
Max.
So, ano ko
Yes.
na ba? Should I introduce Sheila?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, of course.
all our Bellas. Sheila DeForest is Mrs. Eco International 2019 philanthropist, climate reality leader, and sustainable fashion advocate who is currently based in Golden, Colorado. She has a varied working experience ranging from hospitality, sales and marketing, online fashion reselling, press and public affairs with the UK Embassy Manila, and as a flight attendant for Emirates Airlines. She is an avid traveler, having been to 57 countries supporting environmental activities or walking in fashion shows, raising awareness for women empowerment, human rights, or indigenous fashion. She has also worked with local government units, various international and Philippine based NGOs, including Dress for Success, Hariban Foundation, Global Seed Savers, Eco Waste Coalition, Kilos or Kababaihang, Iisa ang layunin umunlad ang sambayanan, tayo or Team Albay Youth Organizations Incorporated, World Vision, Gawad Kalinga USA, and NAFA Region 5. Ang dami.
Grabe, dami.
And a multi-hyphenate. Her volunteer work was recognized by her community in the Philippines and by Jefferson County of Colorado as one of the finalists for the Unsung Heroine Award in their 2020 International Women's Day
Wow.
celebration. She was also given an Eco Champion Award at the International Climate Action Challenge 2020 for participating in the 90-day challenge and founding GREAT, or the Golden Residence Eco Action Team. And she is currently employed at the Eddie Tap Room and Hotel and helped organize their green team. By the way, Dar, she walked for my show in New York last time.
Wow.
So there
Wow.
was a.
Nice, nice.
But before I talk about that, let's bring her in. So without further ado,
Yay! Thank you, Sheila, for joining us.
Good
That's
morning,
yeah,
Dar.
amazing.
Good
Ang dami mo
morning,
nang
Vic.
na-achieve.
I know.
Salamat and good morning to all the Bellas. Sorry, yeah, it's 4 something in the morning here. So good
Yeah,
morning and good evening to the
yeah.
Philippines. Thanks for having
Oh.
me.
So
Thank
she,
thank you.
you're currently in Colorado, no? Okay,
Yes.
it's morning there right now. By the way,
Yeah.
that's what I was saying. So Sheila walked for me in New York Fashion Week in
Mhm.
2019. So the person who opened my show was like America's Next Top Models. Dapat kasing bongga rin yung, like the ones who's gonna close the show. So Sheila was the one who closed my show.
Nax,
Thank you so
Nax,
much.
galing, galing.
Yeah.
Amazing, amazing.
It's
So,
serendipitous how Vic and I met actually. We met through Instagram, right? I
yes.
think I reached out to you when I was preparing to compete for a pageant, and but everything worked out. Like we got to work together for New York Fashion Week, and I'm one of his fans
Aw.
from
Yeah.
afar.
Thank you. Thank you. Uh, and Sheila also introduced me to some of her friends in Colorado who became my clients as well. She also visited like my booth
Hmm.
in here in the Philippines when we had a bazaar before the entire like pandemic happened. Who would have
Yeah.
thought that's gonna happen? So yeah, kind of
Yes. So, Sheila, what made you decide to join the Mrs. Eco International pageant? And were you expecting to win?
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. So That time I wasn't supposed to compete because I
Wow.
was just recovering from foot surgery, and I wasn't sure if I'll be ready in time for June for the competition. But they were nice, and they told me, let's just see what your surgeon says. I'm like, okay. So I talked to my surgeon, and he's like, you know what, with your progress, you'll be ready by May. I'm like, oh, okay. So,
Okay, okay.
yeah,
Wow.
I underwent surgery December of 2018. June 2019, I was competing in Las Vegas in 6-inch heels.
Wow.
Wow. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know. But I wasn't like, it was my second foray into pageantry actually. And I was doing, like sustainability unknowingly. Like I was recycling, segregating our waste, trying to minimize our waste output, but I wasn't really an advocate. So for me, being able to participate in a system where it supports sustainability and advocating for the environment was something that could be challenging. But for me, I welcome challenges. So I went to work and did a lot of partnerships with the different nonprofits that Vic mentioned and more, and also reconnected with my heritage in like here in Colorado, reconnecting with the Filipino community here, getting to work with them, and also going back to the Philippines more often, being able to actually do projects on ground like cleanups, tree plantings, and educational awareness with children and different associations. So I kind of did the work of what a queen is supposed to do, and or the international queen as Mrs. Eco Philippines. But when I went to Vegas, I wasn't expecting anything. I was there um, as an advocate, and I looked at my sisters, my Sash sisters, as friends, as sisters, not competitors. I didn't look at them as, like somebody like I could, beat or anything. But for me, I was there like as an ambassador for the environment, because when you work for the environment, it goes beyond our politics, our even sometimes our even like the relationships that we have with some people. So
Mm-mm.
we may not see eye to eye, we may not believe on the same things, but when we talk about the environment, it's something else. It's a different level that we can unite
Yes.
and be
Mm-mm.
behind, because we have one home. Planet Earth is our home. So
Yes.
we are responsible for taking care of it, making sure that we have a healthy planet, not just for us, but for the future generation, because they will inherit this planet. So
Mm.
come Vegas, so pageant week, that's already like the culmination of your journey in your preparation. So if you're not ready by the time you get to pageant week, you're late.
Mm.
Because pageant week, you're focused on the show that you will have, like during pageant finals, during the international finals. So you're focused on rehearsals, your interviews, your eco
Mm-hmm.
activities. So the pageant director would look at your body of work coming into the pageant, so she knows or he knows the kind of queen that you will be when you
Okay.
win the title. So I wasn't expecting like finals night, and they started calling all the special awards. So I got 3 out of 4 special
Wow.
awards for finals, and uh, I don't know. You guys probably follow pageants like in the Philippines or even Miss Universe, and sometimes even if hakot mo yung special awards, there's no guarantee that you will win the crown.
Mm-mm.
So I was
Yeah.
like, okay, thank you so much. I was thankful that they appreciate all the efforts that I did in preparation for the title. But I'm like, masaya na ako even if I make it to top 5 or top 4, I'm good. Even if I don't win the title. And then they started calling um the top 4. I was the first one to be called. And then when we were all called for Q&A, I was also the first one to be called to answer the question. So I didn't really have time to like process, and unlike some of my other co-finalists, like I'm like, I think I delivered my answer, and I was texting with my pageant media friends in Manila. I'm like, oh my god, Tito, I think I blew it. I think I blew my answer, and they're like, you know what? Sige, we'll watch the live stream after. And I'm like, okay. So we were just waiting in the wings, and then they called the Mrs. division, and they started calling the runners up. And then hanggang naiwan na lang ako and Mrs. Norway, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Kinikilabutan ako sa
Kasi
kwento mo.
I know, I'm
Go,
like,
go.
it could go either way. I could be first runner up, or I could bring home the crown of Mrs. Eco International. I'm like,
Yeah, okay.
I'm grateful to have reached that far in the pageant.
Mhm.
And Mrs. Norway was also a deserving winner. And
Wow.
so, either way, she's my sister queen. I have a new friend, and we have commonalities because she lives in North Dakota, which I have family there as well. So I'm like, okay. And then, syempre, when they announced that I won, I'm like, oh my God, I was like crying. I'm like, siguro, there were like pictures online of me crying. well, the crown was being put on my head. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like, this is the most amazing thing because I worked hard. I worked hard for that crown. So
Yeah.
I guess, at the end of the day, when you really work hard for something and you get it, it's like, um, it's not the end. It's just the beginning.
Well deserved. You know, Dara actually saw the crown. Like um, Sheila visited my studio in 2019 for the fitting for New York Fashion Week, and it's a really pretty, it's an amazing looking crown. So yeah, amazing. How did you
Wow.
start your like the awakening this entire sustainability thing?
Mhm.
Um, what triggered you to actually like advocate for the environment? And what is sustainability anyway? It can mean like so many things to so many people, but
Yeah, I mean, sustainability is not just fashion. It's not just, like how we manage like waste, especially plastic. We were talking about, the global plastic problem. Unfortunately, Southeast Asia is one of the top
yes, the Philippines is
polluters.
actually the third plastic
I
contributor.
know, so that's what I was
China's first,
trying. Yeah,
Indonesia's second. So okay.
mm-hmm. I know. So it's really like educating everyone and how sustainability is how we can live, within our resources, how we um don't have too much impact. I mean, yeah, that's a pipe dream. Of course, everything that we do, every day, every action that we do has an effect on the environment. So how we
Mhm.
um how we think, how we lead our lives, like in consideration of the environment, most especially, is very important, and how we give back, how we return those resources, or how we make sure that we can further the use of those resources. Like, I know people are greenwashing or wish cycling in some cases. I was guilty of it before. And when I was growing up, like, we didn't realize that the Botijario Garapa is already recycling. You guys are young. So,
No,
baka hindi niyo
No,
na-inabot yung
no.
body char, yung
I'm
garapa.
familiar. I am familiar.
yeah, yeah, very familiar. Or
Yeah.
also, naabutan ko rin the Magnolia
Mhm,
bottle.
mhm.
Di ba? Like, it
The
was in a
jar,
bottle
as in, oo, yung
jar.
bote
Yeah, yeah,
talaga,
yeah.
hindi plastic. So,
Yeah, it was in a
like when I
bottle.
would talk to like kids here, because uh, a lot of the eco warriors are kids, and actually that's amazing. I mean, even in the Philippines, the grassroots movement is being led by the youth as well. So when I would talk to them, like when I was growing up, there were more glass, there were more recyclables, or
Mm-hmm.
less plastic. But here, I mean,
Ayun, yeah.
it's everywhere. Very plastic is very pervasive, and people think that just because it goes to a bin, it magically goes away. But it has to go somewhere. Our landfills are
Mm-hmm.
filling up. Plastics end up in the environment. I do a lot of cleanups here. I help organize my hotel's green team. So we adopted a part of the highway. So we will take care of that for the next 2 years. So we will do cleanups, and also I help. Like I try to educate my coworkers about the value of recycling. And living in Colorado, we on average have a very good recycling rate compared to other states. Although some cities are doing much better, like Boulder and Loveland, they really have very high recycling rates because of the availability of recycling facilities and curbside recycling. So
Nice.
when I came here, I wasn't recycling. I'm
Mm-mm.
I admit, and I was living in Dubai. We never recycled there. We never segregated our trash. So our trash went into one bin. So the bag would go to a garbage chute in our condo, and then somebody takes it
Yun na.
away,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
it goes to a landfill. But when I went here, I was forced to recycle. I was forced to learn. I'm like, because curbside recycling is available. So we have a separate bin for recyclables. We have a separate bin for landfill, and now we compost as well. So even our landfill waste became even smaller.
Smaller. Yeah.
Yeah, and we garden as well. So the compost helps our garden, helps our
Yeah.
soil, and it helps harvest carbon dioxide, which is
Mm-mm.
a very it's a greenhouse gas, and also one of the causes of climate change. With
Yeah.
all the fossil fuels that we burn, everything, all the trash, the methane that landfills emit also help with climate change. And so being able to lessen our carbon footprint, our carbon output and methane output is also helpful in trying to fight and lessen the greenhouse gas emissions globally. I know some industries are very polluting, um, like fashion. Like, oh, sorry,
Fashion.
fast fashion. We have to correct that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fashion
I
is
think
one of the
third most polluting industry.
yeah, and then you have agriculture,
Agriculture too, and of course you have the more
oil
extractive
and
industry,
gas, yes.
oil and
And
gas.
going back to plastics, plastics are byproduct of oil and gas, of the petrochemical industry. And here in the States, one of the reasons why the plastic packaging is so cheap is because of the oil subsidies that the industry gets.
So
So,
government talaga also plays a role talaga.
yes.
Policy making in terms of
Policy, yeah, definitely.
yeah, in terms of ano.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's actually
So
everybody's
vote
role.
wisely.
I
Vote
know.
wisely.
Vote wisely. Yes, I tell people that. Vote for people um for officials who think of the environment,
Mm-mm.
think of welfare of the people,
Yes, correct.
and serving, not serving
Service,
for
agree.
themselves, but serving their
Yes.
constituents, and also
Yes.
corporate. corporate is important because they decide like what packaging or how they run their businesses, but we can also affect their decisions by voting with our wallets. So if we don't
Exactly.
buy
Yes.
their products, they have to rethink.
Mm-hmm.
That's why some companies resort to greenwashing.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And of
Oh,
Um.
course, our collective individual
go ahead, Mel.
choices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sheila, since you talked a lot about your advocacy, did you encounter like any kind of challenges in parang in
Mhm,
communicating? Kasi you're very passionate about it. So,
Mm-mm.
meron ka bang mga na-encounter na mga
mhm.
challenges, problems?
Of
What?
course, like there are climate deniers out there. People who don't believe that climate change is real. We here in Colorado, we're already it's December 8th. We haven't had any measurable snow yet.
Mm,
And it's scary because the snowpack from the Rocky Mountains helps the Colorado River, and a lot of states depend on the Colorado River for their water. So
Oh,
if we don't have
snow.
if we don't have reasonable or measurable snow, we don't have as much water this summer. There will be fire, wildfires,
Forest fires,
forest
yeah.
fires.
uh,
We like 2019, 2020, 2021.
Every
Every
year it's
year
getting worse,
it's
right? The
getting
forest
longer
fire.
as well,
Yeah.
yes. And drought, we have severe drought. So, we have to mitigate even from up here. So that people downstream will have water. A lot of industries depend on the river, especially like down in California. The Colorado River doesn't reach the sea anymore, unlike before.
oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So we
yeah.
do feel it. We feel the effects of climate change. And for people not to believe that, it's
Yeah.
changing. I mean,
Mhm.
only last weekend I was with some of my friends in Poshmark, who are fashion resellers as well. And we talked about the lack of snow. So we were talking about the environment. So it's like something that it has to be discussed. It has to be, um, you know, front and center of everyone's thoughts and actions. And of course, there are still people who don't think that it's real, which, like you can be very like um, put off by it. But what we do is we try to listen. Like, we ask why. Why don't they think it's real? As a climate reality leader, we are trained to talk to these people, to present to people who are not in, not in the same wavelength as you. And of course, we encourage discussions, and hopefully at the end of like that encounter or that meeting, if we can change even a few minds into like considering taking extra steps and being more conscious of how they live their lives, that's something that we've done. We've done our jobs. And we also do our Fridays for future strikes occasionally, subject to weather, because we have four seasons here, so it's hard to like stand in a corner with your sign when it's snowing. So when we do that, we do virtual climate strikes as well, and we do encounter people who are trying to like egg us and trying to get us to like heated discussions. But we try to be cool about it and give examples of
Mm-mm.
um, of the effects of that we can see, make it tangible, make it relatable for them, so that they can think and and look back, and they're like, oh yeah, that's actually right, they're right. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
So maybe you
Yeah.
can also use this platform to
mhm,
explain to the fellas what
mhm,
is greenwashing, because
mhm.
you've been mentioning what it is, but yeah, for the fellas out there, what is greenwashing actually? Essentially,
So
yeah.
greenwashing is when brands use like big words in their marketing, in their publicity materials, like, made with like recycled polyester, or this shirt is made from like 10 bottles, but that's the only thing they're doing.
Mm,
Their supply chain is, you can say, either opaque or
Mm-mm.
dark, because you cannot trace each step in the supply chain. Their suppliers are not following the standards, or they're not certified, and they don't pay their workers right. They have,
yeah.
they abuse women workers, children workers. There's a lot that actually comes into the fashion supply chain, especially, and the carbon footprint of like the piece of clothing. Like, say you go to a store, and a shirt is like, say, $5. Oh my god, that's so cheap! Like, and it's so cute, and fast fashion. So they churn it so fast. Like, it takes only what, weeks. Like, when they see something from like the fashion weeks, oh, those are cute, and then they mass produce this, they copy, or they try to get inspiration from that design, and they bring it to market in weeks. So um that time frame, it's like a lot of things are sacrificed, a lot of like considerations for the environment, for um the cost of labor, the real cost of labor, and many other things that come into play. When something is made so cheap, someone's not getting paid. There are a lot of shortcuts behind production. So before you buy something that cheap, think, like, are you contributing to the problem? Because these brands, like, when they see that their items are moving, they'll produce more and more and more and more, and these are so like cheaply made that they don't last long. So either you can wear them maybe one time, twice, then they end up in trash, or people go donate them to thrift stores, and they may not end up in the stores anyway, and they end up in Asia, in Africa, in South America, in landfills. So that's another thing called wish cycling. When you throw something in the recycling bin that is not supposed to be there, one, it contaminates the load,
Mm,
because recyclables are products. They
Mm-hmm.
are bought and sold in markets. They can be remade into other products,
Mm-mm.
and so if it's contaminated, they will send it to the landfill. So that's a wasted resource, especially glass and aluminum, because glass and aluminum can be recycled forever. Plastic can be
Yeah.
recycled up to 2 or 3 times only.
Mm-hmm.
When it ends up in its last form, usually like clothing, construction materials, park benches, and whatnot, that's end of it. So when when it breaks, or you can't use it anymore, then it will go to the landfill. So it's a matter of educating ourselves, that lessening use of plastic
Yeah.
bags and these finite recyclable materials
Mm-hmm.
is helpful, because that will help us make our decisions, how we shop, how we consume,
Mm-hmm.
actually.
So, parang ang dami, grabe, no? Parang ang dami talagang opportunities in terms of being able to help and to raise awareness, because I've learned so
Mhm.
many things from you in the past few minutes, Shida. Hindi ko alam lahat, a lot of the things that you were talking about. But related to your advocacy, do you have like certain specific goals that you want to achieve
Mhm.
for your parang as goals for your parang for the next year for
Mhm.
2022 or 2023?
Well, I mean, even if 2019 passed by, 2020 passed by, I am still advocating as a queen because it actually helps. Being a queen opens doors for me, for my advocacy. I get invited to speak. Uh, like here, like speaking with you, Dar and Vic and the Bellas, and also being able to collaborate with different organizations for their
Mm-hmm.
webcasts or webinars or podcasts. And so for me, I continue on um, with trying to reach out to people. So that's still part of what I do. And even at work, I'm grateful that the Eddie Hotel was is open to supporting sustainability even at the onset of the hotel. And being a new property, it's easy for us to start and implement sustainability initiatives. So for me, that's I guess that's a win for me this year. And I will continue on with that for next year, and also continue on with reaching out to more people in my city, and doing more cleanups and more environmental awareness. And hopefully we can um, work around more the pandemic
Mm-mm.
because it actually threw a wrench, with in-person volunteering and activities as well. But of course, cleanups are possible because they're mostly outdoors, so we can do social distancing, and we can still, like, educate each other while doing
Mm-mm.
doing the activity. So yeah, it's I'm humble that my coworkers are like, when they're picking up trash, they're like, Sheila, is this trash or is this recyclable?
Nice, nice. So, uh, I think na-share din ni Sheila, parang you mentioned like in terms of, meron ka bang like personal, in your personal life, or parang out, I mean not just in the advocacy but as
Hmm.
overall for your do you have like your, what was your biggest win in the past 2 years, like 2020 and 2021, the pandemic years?
I know. Oh my gosh. Well, honestly, for me, it's I guess, for organizations to see me as relevant, as as somebody who can add value to their platforms, to their programs. I became a board member of the National Federation of Filipino American Associations, Region 5, which covers Colorado, North Dakota, South Dakota, Kansas, and Wyoming. So that's
Mm-hmm.
five
Wow.
states. So we are trying to gain traction beyond Colorado. And it was my first time as well to um, be chairperson of a gala
Wow.
fundraiser. We actually wanted to fly Vic
And things are crazy
for
there. So
for that gala, but because of the pandemic, yeah, that didn't happen. Hopefully someday, Vic,
yeah,
you'll
hopefully
visit
someday.
us here in Colorado. But
Yeah,
but
most
for me, that
definitely.
was a big challenge, being a
Mhm.
pandemic year, and we were worried. Like, we want to indulge our titas, like they wanted to party. And we're like, hang on, it's still a pandemic, and we want you guys to be safe. And
Yes.
we don't know, what if there will be lockdowns in October. But thankfully, we were successful, and we actually started a disaster preparedness fund for this
Nice. Ganda.
organization.
Mhm.
So, because in the past, we've been fundraising for calamities that already happened. So it takes time. You guys probably did fundraisers or organized events that it takes time, by the time you like do planning for the event, and then The event happens, and then the money that you will send, it was already months by the time that you can send money. And so for us to be able to be proactive and ready when a major disaster happens in the Philippines, that we can already send money, like it's coming or it's there. So all
Yeah.
we have to do is like reach out to our partners. We normally work with Gawad Kalinga USA and Gawad Kalinga Philippines for disaster management and relief. So for us to be able to reach out to Tita Maricel, that's like, Tita, where do you need us? Where do you need the help? So we can just send money. So
Awesome.
hopefully we can bank on that until, like, for the years to come, because this is the first year that we started that. So we hope to grow that fund and being able to help more Filipinos at their time of need.
Sheila, let's talk about success. What do you think? And I think the question would also go to Dar.
Mm.
Like, what are your proudest moments, or and even hardest moments for 2021?
Okay, I guess one of my proudest moments is I already mentioned the gala. I mean, that was like my it was a learning curve as well. Planning an event of that scale during a pandemic, we had to jump through many hoops, but at that event, during that night, it's like when we saw everyone and congratulated us for that successful event, because we had about 300 people, and
Mm,
we had a very international program. We had Matt Koshman, who's a professor from CU Boulder. He actually was a Fulbright scholar who visited
Mm,
Ateneo in
wow.
2018. He spent some time in the Philippines, so he has connections in the community. So we were able to get him as our keynote speaker, and our attendees really appreciated that. It's like for and Brandon Flores, who's the NAFA national chair, when he gave his speech, he was proud, to be able to visit Colorado and see the community um, invigorated and committed and involved in, not just for our event, but also, the programs that we do. So apparently he would tell other regions in NAFA that, you guys watch, you talk to the people in Colorado, check out what they're doing. It's like they're a sleeping giant in Colorado, because
nice. Ganun.
we're not. Thank
Congratulations.
you, because we're not a big community here compared to California, Nevada, New York, or New Jersey, but still we're powering through. We're celebrating our heritage and trying to champion for the causes of the Filipino Americans.
Nice.
Amazing.
Siguro, ayun,
What
Victor,
about?
to answer your question, ako honestly, proudest moment or like our biggest wins for this year is really still being here, alive, that our company is
Mm,
still surviving. I think I just appreciate being able to be present, I guess. I think that's the most important thing. Kasi, di ba, parang, especially here in the Philippines, a lot of companies have closed down, right?
mm,
And parang it's such and we all know na how challenging things are, like on the business front. There's a lot of adjustments that we had to do, so many things that we have to relearn, unlearn, relearn, experiment, and figure out what's next. So yun, I'm just very grateful that we're still standing here. How about you, Victor? What is something that you're proud of this year?
same, same. I'm so happy that we survived the third lockdown. Like Sheila, you've had like several lockdowns here. It's already the third. The third was actually the hardest for us, and I think it's also the same for a lot of companies out there. But the other proud moment that I have is making it to Vogue Italia. I think it's something that we shared.
Yes, it's amazing.
with the rest of the Bellas already, and of course that features my collaboration with or our collaboration rather with Pia Wurtzbach. Um, so
Mm-mm.
that was like super amazing. Yeah, yeah, like that's largely it for me. So if there is something that you guys think that you didn't do well in 20, like this year, what do you think would that be? Like whether it be professionally or personally. Um, yeah, I'm also
Hirap na
thinking
mong
about
question.
about
Pang ano, pang
how you want to improve on
yeah,
pang, pang pageant.
The
pang
pageant
pageant yung
question.
questions. Yeah. Is there
If there's
something that
something that you want to,
I did not do well this year personally and professionally? I think there's
yeah,
a lot kasi parang the experience of 2021 for me is really a lot of experimentation. It's like parang 'di ba yung what we know that used to work is not necessarily working na right now, right? Parang for we're still playing a game but the rules changed. So kung dati you know how to win or you know how to play the game, suddenly for 2021 kasi even 2020, parang we're still, parang sort of okay eh. And I guess we credit it na as a business, may baon kami. But this year, a lot of our maybe assumptions or a lot of the logic of how we win, parang ano eh, nag-iiba. And it's
mm,
manifesting also in the results. And I think that's one thing that we're still going through as a company. We're still journeying it. That's both personal and professional kasi you guys know naman, my heart and soul is still with Viviamo in our company. So, syempre, like, all, diba? I mean, it's hard to separate if you have your own business. It's really connected to you
that's
personally.
really
How about you, Sheila?
For me naman, well, I guess I kind of overstretched myself a bit this year because normally like in pre-pandemic, pre-lockdowns, you can go to events, you can attend seminars, on a like one, like maybe one a day, or you can really pick and choose because you
Mm-hmm.
can't be everywhere at the same time. But during the pandemic, I love being able to connect with people globally as well through online platforms, through Zoom. Right now, we're on Streamyard, so there are more opportunities for me to like do webinars. Like I can do several a day.
yeah.
But also like like even with getting involved with the community, it was a bit challenging um being an officer in several organizations that my intentions were doubted by some people. And so I had to pick. I had to like, take stock of what's important, and I had to let go of some. So I think that was the most learning, or that was probably one of the most trying periods for 2021 for me. But I'm hopeful that for 2022, despite the challenges that we have to work around, um, I'm excited. I'm excited for the things that are opening up and that I can be a part of, and something that I can be passionate about.
It's nice.
Yeah. For
How
me,
about
to mine,
you? Yeah.
yeah,
Ikaw, Vic.
I think it's like the same thing. Like we've learned what are the things that are important and what aren't, what's essential and what's not.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that I've learned really as well is how to navigate like different relationships, especially if everyone is stressed out,
Mhm.
right? Everyone is in the survival mode, right? So
Yes, yes,
Correct.
yes, yes.
sometimes it kind of brings out the worst in people and stuff. But you have to cling on to their humanity and see the silver lining and just like really love unconditionally, I guess. So that's what I learned in 2021, more 2021 than 2020 actually. Yeah, so I guess the next question that we would want to ask is out of the goals that you've laid out at the beginning of the year, which ones were you not able to achieve, and what caused you actually like fall short from meeting those goals? Because like Sheila in the BDJ, like we love like using our planners or
Mm-hmm.
journal. So at the start of the year, sometimes a lot of us like just plan out, especially if it's as our New Year's resolution. Do you do that, or if you have any goals for this year, like what are the things that you weren't able to achieve?
Well, I kind of stopped doing resolutions. Because for
Yeah.
me, I work on it every day. It's like,
Mm,
I because I know having resolutions is something that you can have, accountability for yourself. And but still for me it's like every day is fluid, especially, the past couple years. Everything changes. And but I wish I I guess I had more time for my reselling business. And it kind of like I kind of put it in the back burner a bit because of all the other things I'm doing that I feel are more per, pertinent or urgent, like my environmental advocacy. And then now I have a job, but of course I'm slowly going back into it, so I'll probably do more of that next year. And also it's hard to source, especially for my it's hard to um source like some merchandise like from our community partners in the Philippines, because with the lockdowns before, it's hard, with the manangs not being able to come to the shop, or like for them to get materials. So it's like, okay, I can, take a little break and focus on other things. But I'm hopeful for 2022 to be able to be um hopefully I can come home. I
yeah.
mean, I can, but I have to quarantine for a long time, so that kind of eats up on my vacation. So hopefully, next year
Well,
the restrictions will be less
Mm-hmm.
for non WHO countries.
yeah. What about you, Dara? Hopefully, like Sheila, like if you're here, obviously we're gonna see
Yeah,
each other.
let's catch up.
Yes,
Yeah.
for sure. You know that I will. I will see you.
Mm-mm. And you have to see, like the amazing products of Viviamo as well. It's really
Of
great.
course, of course.
Yeah. What about you, Dara? Like, do you plan like a year in advance, and then were there some things that you weren't able to meet this year?
Yes, and generally parang ano din, parang I do try to plan ahead, like broad strokes in terms of what I want to happen within the year, or the goals of the company, my personal goals. I do my own personal goal setting in that sense. And madami rin kaming goals na hindi na-achieve kasi again, hindi talaga parang I guess what we knew was like not exactly what's happening anymore. So I think that's really the challenge that we have, because it's a pandemic, parang some of the rules have changed, so to speak, 'di ba? So those are the challenges na parang na-encounter namin. But yes, I'm still it's still very important for me to set the goals kasi 'di ba, as we know, intention means a lot, 'di ba? Intention, when you've set the intention, the positive intention, when you have goals, you get more things done.
Mechanism there,
Yeah, kasi parang because the fact that you've set it, there's a bit more clarity in you. And when you're more clear, you have more power. Clarity is power. And you can
yeah.
manifest things also better.
Yeah. Second, I do it when it's fun. You know, sometimes like getting into details is a bit, mas stressful.
Yes, hindi
But
kaya nga broad strokes lang, broad
Mm-hmm.
strokes lang. Hindi
yeah,
puwedeng super detailed kasi parang
Hindi.
when you're super detailed, I think that's when it's execution na. And syempre when you're doing it at the start of the year, parang you want the possibilities to come in, not super
mm,
like super OC. Baka sa sobrang detailed pa, you might be limiting some
Mm-hmm.
ideas, 'di ba?
so just let things to unravel.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I think at the start of the year, meron mga really, like broad things that I think all of us would love, like lose weight, etc. But
Mhm.
these are the really things that I would love to happen. But I don't beat myself up when they don't happen. And parang just like Sheila, like parang every week we just see, things are very fluid. Let's see if
Mm-hmm.
this is for me. I just sense it. I sense the energy. If it's fun or so. So I'm very open to like different possibilities. So I just do it when it's fun, actually. But I do
Mhm.
agree that you need the goals can set the intention and the clarity. It's very important when the intention is there. That's what I say. Like the mechanisms disappear. So yeah.
And
Correct, correct.
sometimes,
Yeah.
it's not even like the fun things. I mean, some things, even if they're painful, have to be done.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yes, responsibility. That's why some
Responsibilities, yeah.
mhm.
Yeah.
Last question tayo for tonight. What are some things that you are looking forward to this 2022?
Well, to travel to see Sheila overseas, because I've been like telling okay, Sheila, if I'm gonna do a show in Milan, you better be there, and she's like,
Yeah,
yes,
of course. Of
uh,
course.
she's always there.
Wow.
Isang tawag mo lang.
Galing. Nice, nice. Sana pwede din ako.
All the time,
Manood,
of
manood,
course.
manood.
Yeah, yeah. You'll never know. But yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to in 2022. But probably end of the year, like siguro mga third or fourth quarter. After the elections, like so many things are gonna happen. I'm sure like during the
Yes.
election. Hopefully like amazing things.
Hopefully
During like
positive things. Yes.
positive
We want to
things.
be
Yeah.
positive. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, what about you guys?
2022. Travel as well. I mean, travel more.
Because you've
We
been
were able to go
traveling
to
a lot.
Iceland this year, but normally I travel more to the Philippines. Like before, I would be home like maybe 2 to 3 times a year.
Mhm.
Which the last time I was there was 2019. So hopefully I can come visit and visit family and friends and reconnect in person because this is great. But having that, being able to hug your mom
Mhm.
Yeah,
and your dad and your sister and your family is something important. So that's something I missed as well. For the past 2 years. So travel and maybe, yeah, I mean my business, yeah, me having more time for it. So it won't be a hobby anymore.
Mhm. Sa akin, I'm excited also for a lot more new things because our company is in transition. So I'm looking forward kahit scary yung mga changes. But I'm very looking forward kasi I feel like parang this opens up a whole new set of possibilities because we're entertaining more changes, we're entertaining more pivots, like where can we go, parang 'di ba, questions on purpose. This is the parang a question that is on our mind the past 2 years during the pandemic na parang ano ba, what are you pandemic na, so you need to really know what your purpose is and or find out what parang makes your heart what you want to do, or at least explore it. Hindi naman required that super clear ka, but at least that you're on that journey, right? So I'm looking forward in this 2022 for that clarity. So
awesome.
excited for that.
Yeah, we wish everyone actually that clarity. For
Yes,
our
yes.
and Sheila, and then for
Yeah.
Mhm.
teams as well.
I
Mhm.
mean, we take on, we use the learning points that we experience from the past 2 years, and hopefully we can take it forward.
Yes, and grow stronger and better and be more amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. So I will just give a bit of reminder. So guys, if you're for those watching us today and of course our team replay, please do share your takeaways with us so you get a chance to win our prizes. So that this is at go.bdj.studio/sign up. So thank you guys. Thank you, Victor. Thank you, Sheila, for joining me once again tonight. And have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays,
Happy
Happy
Thank
New
you
Year
so
to
holidays.
all
much,
of us.
Dor. Thank you so much, Vic. Oh my gosh,
Happy
happy
holidays. Love you guys.
holidays. And I love you guys. I miss Christmas in the Philippines.
Yeah. Take care. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Good
Bye.
night.
Good, good morning.
Good morning.